Morning Year 10, it was lovely to see you this week and last week if you were in Miss Goose's class or my class last week, where you made lasagna and then you were given the ingredients to make your chocolate cake, which by the way, they all look delicious, so well done for taking part in that homework task at home. As I said to you, just a little reminder, keep cooking, keep baking, all throughout the summer holidays as well. We will be giving you some little tasks over the summer holidays, but again, they will be practical based because that for us is the key thing right now, is to keep those practical skills nice and fresh and try and challenge yourself to make different dishes if you need to. So in today's little cook along that we're going to have, you don't have to be doing the actual practical live with me. You can just watch it for the hour or less than the hour, and then you can watch it in your own time. That's completely up to you. But if you want to take part with me, then that's absolutely fine. So make sure you've got all your ingredients, all your equipment out ready. So just to talk you through the ingredients first, we are going to be using digestive biscuits and some fat, which is butter or margarine for our base. And then for our topping of chocolate cheesecake, we're going to have some plain chocolate, some icing sugar, and some mascarpone cheese, okay? If you can't obviously get all these ingredients, then please wait until you can, and then obviously you can recreate it. And this could even be one of your tasks over the summer holidays if you don't want to cook along with me live right now, okay? So the first thing we need to do is our base. So in a saucepan, we are going to have our butter, and we are going to put that on a low heat, okay? You could melt it in the microwave, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be developing your hob skills, okay? So keep it on a medium to low heat. That's absolutely fine. Leave that alone. In your mixing bowl, you are then going to put your digestive biscuits in here. Now, if you've got a food processor at home, absolutely fine. You can, if you need to, put them into a food processor and blitz them up. It'll take you 2 to 3 minutes max, okay? But in school, we wouldn't be letting you do that, so therefore, I'm going to demonstrate exactly what we'll be doing in school. So with the end of your roll-on pin and the mixing bowl, carefully just crush up. Now it's going to be quite loud, so I'm going to stop talking as I'm doing it, so you don't miss anything out that I need to say, okay? Now you want to make sure that they are nice and even crumbs, okay? Now you might not be able to hear it, but my butter is starting to sizzle, so I'm just going to make sure it's on the lowest heat and just give it a little swirl in the pan, just so it doesn't start to burn, okay? Now if you're doing it by hand with a rolling pin like I am, it will take you probably about 5 to 6 minutes, but just make sure that you get a nice fine crumb, okay? You don't want to try and have large pieces of biscuits in the bottom of the actual base, okay? So let your rolling pin do all the work for you. Your arm should be kind of aching near the end of it because you know you've had a little bit of a workout with it. But just carry on, crushing them all up. You could even put them into a little sandwich bag if you wanted to and crush them that way, but again, we wouldn't do that in school, so I'm just trying to do exactly the same as what we do in school. Now before I go on to the next stage, I'm going to then now just heat up my other pan of water. So now that the butter is melted, I can take that off the heat. So I'm just going to swap over these two pans, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dark chocolate into a metal bowl. Now it can be a metal bowl or it can be a glass bowl, it's up to you. And what we're doing is a bain-marie. Bain-marie is where you fill a pan halfway up with warm water, you place a metal or glass bowl on top of it, and the content in the bowl will melt, okay? So it's not a direct heat, it's a nice softer heat, because the chocolate won't go into a paste. The only rule you need to ensure is that the water is not touching the actual bowl, which it isn't, okay? So keep that on there, turn your heat up to a medium heat, because you want to obviously get the water to around 90 to 100 degrees, so therefore it starts to produce some steam, and you'll see the steam come through the side of the pans, and then the chocolate will start to have melted, okay? So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to carry on just crushing my biscuits, making sure that they are nice and fine. Now once you've got that nice fine crumb, okay, if you look at mine now, you can see I've got a nice fine biscuit crumb, okay. You then want to add your butter, your melted butter to it, okay. Now I'm going to be using this tin. Now this tin has got a removable base, okay, so therefore it's good for presentation at the very end of the practical. This is about a 15cm diameter dish. It is up to you if you've got something a bit smaller or a bit larger to use, but obviously if it's a bit larger, it'll be a bit thinner. If it's a bit smaller, it'll be a bit deeper. So just take that into consideration, okay? But I don't expect you to go and buy a new particular dish for this practical. Just use what you've got at home, okay? So then, with your butter, okay, you're going to place your biscuit crumbs into the pan with your butter in there. Not the other way around, because you want the butter to fully coat the biscuit crumbs, okay? Mix it round with a spoon until that butter has been fully absorbed, and then place it into your cake dish, okay? And then with a metal spoon, so a tablespoon, or even a teaspoon if you wanted to, you want to spread out the biscuit crumbs until you get a nice, tight, compact base, which is nice and smooth. You should be able to smell the butter like that. Now, a bit like Blue Peter, if you still watch that, we've got one which Miss Hornsby did for me yesterday, okay, so this one has already been prepared for it, it's been put in the fridge. So you've now got a nice solid base, okay? The next bit now is your topping. So, again, just try and tidy up as you go along, like you normally get told in our lessons, okay? So just move things away from you that you don't need. And we are just still waiting for the chocolate to melt. It's starting to melt, but not fully melted yet. So I'm just going to make sure that you've got everything you need. You need another little mixing bowl. You will need a wooden spoon or a spatula, and that is it, okay? So make sure you've got everything ready. Now, if you can see here, you can see some steam that's coming out of the actual pan. Now that's telling me that my water is boiling, so it's definitely over 100 degrees. So I'm just going to turn it right down, and then let the residual heat continue to melt the chocolate, okay? I will stir the chocolate shortly, but not right now. Leave the chocolate alone, do not mess with it. So, let's melt it, let's give it a bit of a stir now. You can start to see it's starting to melt, it's halfway there. So you just have to be a bit patient with the melted chocolate, okay? And then what you've got is you've got your icing sugar and you've got your mascarpone cheese. Now your mascarpone cheese, okay, and the Italian type of cheese, you can get it from a majority of supermarkets now. And you will need 250 grams, so 1 tub. So please make sure the one that you do buy, if it's from a different supermarket, make sure it is 250, so look for the actual weighting of it. And then you will need 25 grams of icing sugar, which is basically a tablespoon. If you haven't got a tablespoon at home, you need 2 normal dessert spoons, okay? So 2 of them will be a tablespoon for you, okay? You don't need to sieve it, because all this is going to add is a bit of sweetness to the actual chocolate. Because the chocolate's plain chocolate is quite rich, so you want to have a bit of sweetness in there, and it will just lighten it up a little bit. But the mascarpone cheese as well will give it that creamy texture, and that's what makes kind of the cheesecake. With it being quite a bland cheese, okay, the chocolate flavour takes onto it really well, so you get that nice kind of almost like a mousse texture, but not as light. It's a lot more creamy, okay. So, as I said, I've got everything ready now. My chocolate is nearly melted. Just give it another little stir with your wooden spoon. Now, some of you might be asking, well, can we use maybe a chocolate bar? The answer to that is always no. You always need to use a cooking chocolate when you are working with chocolate. I would always advise you to try and get a chocolate that is higher than 70%, or that it's actually called cooking chocolate. But the chocolate that is over 70% is normally quite expensive, so if you can't get that, then the lowest I would recommend you using is 55%. Anything lower than that, normally has too much sugar in, and it can affect the texture and the taste of the overall product, okay? So the higher the cocoa level, the better the product will be. But as I said, if you don't like plain chocolate and you really are against it, even with the added sweetness of icing sugar, you can swap it for milk chocolate and you will get a different flavour, but if that's what you prefer, then have a go and mix it up, okay? And that's completely fine. Have a little go and see what you think. So my chocolate is nearly melted now. I would say probably 1 more minute, it'll be fully melted. And then we can turn the heat off. I can now kind of stir it properly to make sure the residual heat is doing its job. I'm going to leave my wooden spoon in there, okay, because I'm going to turn the heat off now. And then I'm just going to make sure that I've got everything ready, okay? So I will need a tea towel because you don't want the bottom of the bowl to be wet from the steam, which will happen. Okay, so let's go back to our pre-made base. So your pre-made base, which has been in the fridge, etc., for however long you need it to be. So like I said, if you don't want to do this live, you could maybe do the base first, then come back in a couple of hours and then finish off the topping, okay? This can be made obviously in advance. So if you're doing something maybe on the weekend, you want to make it, say, for a birthday or just for a tea with your family, for your pudding, you could make this well in advance, even freeze it if you needed to, nothing will go wrong with it, and then take it out. The colder it is, the better it is, because none of the biscuit crumbs will come loose because it's firm, okay? So that's already done. And then with my metal bowl, I'm going to be very careful because it might be hot, because obviously metal it does conduct heat. So you can see all that steam. Wipe the bottom of it. And then I'm going to add my icing sugar in. Give that a stir. It will start to thicken the chocolate because it's a dry ingredient, okay? And then we're going to add all of our mascarpone cheese in. Okay, so it's a full tub of mascarpone cheese. So scrape that out. And again, with your wooden spoon, just mix it up. If you've got a whisk, you could use a whisk, but you don't have to use a whisk, okay? The whisk will remove any lumps, but if you've beaten it well enough with your wooden spoon, you won't need to do that. So you can see now we've got a nice glossy, creamy, almost mousse-like texture, okay? So let your wooden spoon do all the work for you. Make sure any large lumps of mascarpone have been beaten out well. And then, with your wooden spoon, make sure you scrape it all out and pour it over your biscuit base. Spread it out with your wooden spoon or your spatula so you get a nice even layer, but you can see with me chilling the base, so like if we were in school you would have used the blast chiller. So it is quite important that you make sure your biscuit base is completely cool. Spread it out all around the edges and then put that back in the fridge for probably another hour, okay? And then when you're ready to serve it, you can either serve it with maybe some fresh fruit, some mint, or some pouring cream. Obviously, the one issue I've got, as you can see here, I've got a bit of a smearing of chocolate. So again, make sure, as I always tell you in lessons, to wipe that up. Okay, you all know better than that, so make sure you're cleaning your dishes as you go along. And as I said before, we've done one in preparation, so it should look, we've done it in little individual cases for this. So again, you could do the same if you've got any little glass dishes like this. Put your biscuit base in the bottom of it, put it in the fridge, and then put your chocolate topping on the top. And as you can see, if we go close, you've got a nice even layer of biscuit and then chocolate. That is chocolate cheesecake for year 10. Enjoy making it. As always, if you've got any questions or you've got any queries, anything to do with the demonstration or any of your food work in general, please email me or Miss Goose. We're more than happy to help you. And obviously as well, when you get your summer tasks, they are very independent, but if you need any help, please contact us. We know it's a strange time right now, so we don't mind you contacting us even over the summer holidays. However, please, if you do try to make this, share it with us, upload it to our Twitter account. If you've got Twitter, tag us in it, which is at _MHS _technology, or email it to me and we'll get it on Twitter to show everybody the amazing work that you are currently doing. Take care, stay safe and enjoy. Thank you, Ten.